Hello everyone, welcome to Car Chase Scene, the show that takes place entirely in my 2000 Honda Spaceship. I am your navigator, Brennan Welch, and today I'm here with Kim, my girlfriend, and we're going to go see Dumbo. I'm excited to see it.
I'm excited too, but I don't know if you can beat the original.
Oh, no. Which I'm really excited too, just because I'm coming off of a second viewing of Us. So, like, I'm real down, like, as far as movies are concerned, I'm in like a real depressed state. It's like that was brutal to watch. Which actually is a good segue because I'm starting another segment at the beginning. I should have told you this beforehand. Starting another segment at the beginning of the show where I'm doing like a reflection revision thing on the last time, because it's really hard to do justice to a movie after seeing it 10 minutes ago and then starting recording. So I'm gonna give myself 60 seconds, and you gotta watch the clock because I'm driving, and so it's all kinds of illegal. So, let me know whenever you started.
Okay.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Give me a countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Sweet. Alright, Get Out. Us is a 9 out of 10. That was the last movie that I saw on the podcast. And gave it a 9 because it's a great movie about duality and the fact that there are two sides to every story, an underbelly to every, like, cool thing on top. And the way it accomplished like getting that message across was through really good symbolism, with a lot of mirror imagery, and then presenting you with a force that is inherently evil, or that seems inherently evil, which is the tethered versions of all these people that turn out to be human in some way and redeemable, given that the main character was once a tethered herself and became an actual person. I think all that combined with the best soundtrack I've ever heard in any movie besides Black Panther, and the best acting, budget, and one of the best movie writers of all time made it just amazing. With 10 seconds to spare. Okay, now we can talk about Dumbo. So, I did some research on Dumbo. This is directed by Tim Burton, and he directed a bunch of other movies. Tell me if you've seen any of these. Alright, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children.
Haven't seen it, but I've heard a lot about it.
Yeah, me too. I never actually watched it. Frankenweenie.
Nope.
Heard of it?
Heard of it, haven't watched it.
I'm also in the same boat. Alice in Wonderland, the 2012 one with Johnny Depp.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do you like that one?
It's good. Kind of disturbing in certain parts, but,
I agree.
for the most part, good.
Corpse Bride.
Heard of it, haven't seen it.
Also same. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory 2005.
Yes.
Also, in my opinion, dark and disturbing in a lot of cases.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd agree with you.
Yeah, and I think that's like a Tim Burton thing, is like being kind of dark, you know, sinister.
Yeah.
Which scares me about Dumbo. Dumbo's lighthearted. So, what do you think is like a dark turn that they can take for this movie?
Honestly, I really don't know. I'm interested to see what they do with it. Since it's live action, it's going to be more, I feel like, relevant to everyday people.
Okay.
Because it's not animated. But
yeah, more accessible, relatable.
They could also screw it up with the effects, so...
Yes. That's one thing that scares me, is CG. Lion King looks fantastic, and Jungle Book was awesome looking. So
it can go one of two ways. It's either going to be great or it's going to be bad.
Yeah, this could win an Oscar for visuals, or it could just be Black Panther rhinos. So yeah, that was really bad. So voice acting stars normally are Colin Farrell, Michael Keaton. I love Michael Keaton. He played Batman and the villain in the last Spider-Man movie, so I'm super jazzed about Michael Keaton. And then Danny DeVito are like the main lists on IMDb for cast lists and all that. So I looked on the Disney Wiki. The original movie for this one came out in 1941. It was animated, and it's based off a book by Ellen Haverson, something like that. But
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just a book. It's basically the same as the movie. The animated one and the movie are like the exact same. So it's all about, like, you know, believe in yourself, because they have him like jumping off the high tower and flying around, and like he doesn't believe he can do it, so they give him that little feather as like a sort of like a psychological believe in yourself kind of thing. Oh, you have a magic feather, it'll help you. And then they're like, you don't need the feather, and he flies normally, and yeah. So pretty basic. So I guess my question is, is this going to be any different from the original? And if it is, do you think it'll be better for it?
I don't know if you can top about the first one.
Okay.
I think they'll do stuff differently just because it's live action and not animated.
Like significant plot things? Or...
Probably.
Okay.
I don't think they'll change most of the storyline of the actual movie.
Gotcha.
Just to keep it true to what it originally was. But I think they will change certain scenes that happened in the animation. That's not going to happen in live action.
Oh, so like more cuts, you think?
Yeah.
More cuts than additions. Okay. From what I've seen of the trailer, it looks like they're focusing a lot more on the family. Because I didn't hear any talking animals in the trailer the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Did the animals talk in the first Dumbo? Or was it only the people?
I can't remember. It's been such a long time since I've seen the
me too.
animation one. I want to say they did, but it wasn't very frequent.
Yeah.
If they did.
Gotcha. And this movie too, like especially coming out in the 40s and like early Disney era, this is like dark Disney. Like early times whenever they had Pinocchio getting drunk and Dumbo gets drunk. In the original, he's like looking for some water because he's got the hiccups,
Mm-hmm.
and some clowns knock over a bottle of champagne into the water and he drinks it and gets drunk.
Yeah.
And that's where the whole pink elephants thing comes from.
Mm-hmm. That entire like dream.
Yeah, the whole
scene.
it's a dream sequence, and it's just like crazy. It's like it's a kids movie and drunk
Well, I'm
elephant.
interested to see if that's in there or not.
Yeah,
So-
that could very well get cut.
Or they could change it to something else.
Mhm.
So.
You're right. Do you think this movie is gonna address animal cruelty in any way? Because that's what I got from watching the trailer. Is I feel like
Probably,
Yeah.
because of the whole circus disband, like last year, I think,
Mhm.
and how that's been going on for like over 100 years.
Yeah.
And the reason why they disbanded was because of animal cruelty, and they kept getting in trouble for it.
Yeah.
So, I think it's going to address certain problems that the circus had that people never really realized until more recently. So, we'll see
Yeah.
if that's in there or not.
which to me seems super interesting. Like, that excites me, is the true to life dynamic coming into the movie also. So that also I think ties into Tim Burton being kind of dark, like exposing dark secrets about something that, I mean, it's the circus, like it's supposed to be super happy and, you know, jovial, and like Greatest Showman came out last year. I know you like that movie.
Yeah.
And so that whole shtick of like happiest show on earth and everyone's happy and
So
like,
I'm
brings
thinking,
joy.
yeah, this might be the polar opposite of it.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
But we'll see.
I hope so. So also what I want to know is, so it's been a while for you since you've seen Dumbo, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while for me too. I looked up the plot summary before this movie, and I was like, I don't remember it like that, but I guess that is like that. So this is kind of like a game, but can you try to tell me the plot of Dumbo? The
Dumbo?
original, without looking it up.
Well, basically, he's just like, at the time, he's really young.
Yes,
And
young circus
he's
elephant.
kind of the social outcast because of how he physically looks.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets, his mom and him get separated at one point, if I remember correctly. I haven't seen the movie in years.
Mhm. That's why it's fun.
Yeah.
Because I know if you're right.
And after that, he becomes friends with a bunch of the people in the circus
Mm-hmm.
for his talent of being able to fly with using his ears.
Yeah.
Then he like learns his talent, gets the feather, learns a little bit more about being able to do more than he thinks he
Mm-hmm.
can.
Believe in yourself.
Believe in
stuff.
yourself. Basically, you can put your mind to anything.
Mm-hmm. You can do anything
try.
you set your mind to.
Basically, yeah.
So, to me, that sounds painfully boring because we've heard it a million times. But since this story, I feel like was one of the earliest movies, especially animated movies, coming out in 1941, that like talked about that. So this might have created the "believe in yourself, you can do it" cliche, that kind of thing. And so I don't know if they're able to reinvent that, if they can do anything else more interesting. I mean, we'll see. We're rapidly approaching the theater, so it won't be long till we know. So since we're getting close, it's time for Hopes and Dreams. So Hopes and Dreams is one thing that would make this movie an 11 out of 10. Could make your dreams come true. What would you like your hope and dream to be for this movie?
Well, I guess just recreating the Disney magic. Meaning, like, the excitement and curiosity that they did for me when I was a child.
Okay. You wanna get taken back in time.
Like,
with this
nostalgia.
movie. Nostalgia. Okay. I like it. Mine's really shallow. I want there to be no musical numbers. I'm sick of it. Greatest Showman was very good. I don't want any more. So I'm being super cynical with mine, but yeah, that's my hope and dream. I want no songs in this Disney kids movie.
Okay. I don't know if you're gonna get that, but we'll see.
I don't know. I hope yours comes true, and nobody hopes mine comes true except for me, but we'll see. Do you have anything else you'd like to add before we hit the theater?
I think I'm good.
All right, I'm good too. We'll see you all on the other side. So that was not great.
I would agree. Yeah.
What'd you give it out of 10? I guess we start
like a
there.
3.5.
3.5. I'll give it a 4. But yeah,
it's
wasn't very good.
disappointing.
So we usually do the whole no spoiler timer thing. I see no reason, so we're just gonna play the spoiler alert. We're spoiling the whole movie because it was stupid. So I guess basic plot synopsis. Go ahead and give me the rundown. What happened in Dumbo? What did we just watch?
It honestly didn't feel like it was finished.
Yeah.
Great points as of like what they wanted the movie to portray, but they didn't do it in a way that it actually flowed.
You're
It
right.
was very choppy.
They had great messages, but none of the messages got communicated. It's like they started to
You
say
had
something.
to infer it from watching it.
Yeah, which inferring is okay, but they didn't even give you much to infer off of. They were just like, believe in yourself. And they said believe in yourself like 2 times. And then they were like, the whole mom loves the kids more than the dad loved the kids thing was barely explored. And the whole dad was in the military and wants to use his talents and stuff. That was never explored. And the like angry businessman who's greedy was like completely motivationless. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and then the fact that all of a sudden he just decided to support his kids and their dream.
Yeah, at the very end.
That was just not.
It's like seeing a flying elephant was enough to inspire him, which would have made sense in a Disney movie if they would have treated it like a Disney movie, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't think it also it didn't have that Tim Burton dark that I was expecting either. So basic plot synopsis. The Medici brothers circus, there's only one guy named Medici, from the throwaway line in the middle of the movie that you find out. He buys an elephant, and he buys the elephant pregnant. And at the same time around the same time he buys the elephant, these 2 little kids that live with him in the circus, their dad gets home from the military and he lost his arm. And then basically the dad becomes the caregiver for the elephant. And like, that's really it for the entire beginning of the movie.
It was really rushed.
Yeah, it was. I think rushed is a good way to put it. So at the very beginning, it's like they played the super inspirational music and they had like a flying elephant scene and everything, and like within the first 20 minutes in the movie they were already doing that. And they did it like 3 times, and they played the like climactic music every time like it was some big moment, but it was really just another one because it happened so often. So it really lost its luster. And so at first everyone hates the elephant because his ears are big, and like, no, he's not even real. And then like on his sign it says "Dear Baby Dumbo," like D-A-R, like, oh, dear baby Dumbo, and or Jumbo, dear baby Jumbo, because it's Mama Jumbo's baby elephant.
Oh yeah.
And then after he sneezes and his ears pop out of this like hat thing that they put him in, like the bonnet, he knocks the sign and it says "Ear Baby Dumbo," and everyone's like, "Oh, Dumbo, that's a funny name." Literally, that those
It
exact
was
words.
really not a well portrayed way of explaining the name. It was just kind of thrown in there because they didn't know how else to introduce it, and kind of I looked at it and I was like, huh, okay.
They could have done so much. Yeah, I think they did. The movie was definitely different than the original, because the original wasn't as much about the circus people. It was more about Dumbo, and this one was all about the circus people, I would argue. And the circus people, quite frankly, weren't very interesting. Like Medici, I never really figured out what kind of character he was, because like he wasn't greedy enough for long enough for me to think, oh, he's the greedy character that gets what's coming to him and then he turns good at the end. Because that didn't happen. He did do a good thing at the end, but he wasn't like super greedy the whole time.
Yeah, I would agree with you there.
And then there was the like businessman who was only in the movie. Michael Keaton was only in the movie for half of it, and was just kind of. He was supposed to be the greedy guy, but he had no like motivation to do it, other than he was in debt. They hinted that the girl and the dad were gonna be a love interest thing, and then it just never happened.
Just kind of died.
Yeah, that died like right after the hint was dropped. So basically, the dad like asked the girl a question. He's like, "Millionaire's girlfriend, not a bad game," and she's like, "Nah, you're the lucky one. You're the family that loves you." And he's like, "Oh, you don't love I can't remember Michael Keaton's character's name. Vanderbilt?
Yeah,
Vanderbeer, whatever it was. He's like, "Oh, you don't love Vanderbeer?" And she's like, "No, I'm one of many gems he wears to reflect the light back at him." Good line, but and then the dad's
didn't really
like,
do anything.
yeah, and the dad's like, "Oh," and kind of like gives her like a side glance and a little smile.
That's really all you get, too.
And they left it. I was like, okay, so they're not getting a new mom. I mean, poor Dumbo, he didn't know that this was going to be a bad movie. He was doing great. All the Dumbo stuff, like, he looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
The visuals weren't bad.
Well, and the reflection scene in the water was really cool at the end.
Oh yeah, so the very, very end of the movie, they load Dumbo up on a boat because they come to the conclusion that no circus deserves Dumbo. And so they put him on a boat, ship him off, and he goes to, I guess, India?
They never really tell you that either.
Some undefined jungle in what can only be described as the Far East, because that's all they say over and over again. He's from the Far East. You're like, how far? Far. So they take him back to the Far East, and then he like jumps off a cliff and flies over some water with some birds towards all the other elephants, and his mom's like, "Rrr!" And he's like, "Rrr!" And then it ends. And honestly, that's most of the movie. Like, that was a less than like 8 or 9 minute synopsis, and it sadly is pretty much all the movie had to offer. The characters were just kind of uninteresting. I had one thing I was thinking about: antagonists, because honestly, villains are like usually what make movies like really good. And there was hard to figure out an antagonist in this movie, because it's usually either a person or like a force. So it's like a force of like, you know, I don't like unbelief can be an antagonist in a movie, and like some probably would argue that unbelief is the antagonist in this movie. But like sometimes it was like suppressing creativity, it was not believing in yourself, it was Medici for the first half and then Vanderveer for the second half. Like, I never really got a clear idea what we were fighting against in the movie. I don't know what Dumbo was meant to prove wrong.
He wasn't doing it whenever he was supposed to do it.
Yeah, I mean, he flew really good. And like the pink elephants thing, they replaced it by a bubble show. But the bubble show, it didn't do much other than look really cool. The music wasn't all that great. It was just kind of slow, one instrument, like supposed to sound kind of magic-y, like mystical stuff. And then after, you know, like some shimmers and bubbles flying around, Dumbo walked out, and then this one guy said, "Wow, pink elephants." And then an investor who was like critiquing the show was like, "That's boring." That was it. So that's how they replaced the drunk Dumbo pink elephant sequence. The rats didn't do anything. The monkey, so also the comedic relief was kind of stupid because it wasn't there the whole time. Because the monkey was the thing making the jokes.
When they were throwing it in there, like towards the end, when they tried to throw it in there, it was like they were trying too hard.
Yeah, they put him back in, because it's like they had the monkey in the beginning, and he really wasn't that funny, but at least he was something. And then they got near the end of the movie, and the monkey showed back up after not being in the movie for like an hour and a half, or an hour and probably just an hour. And we're like, oh yeah, the monkey's here. And then the monkey just like opens up a cage and lets some rats out and like goes, ah, and runs away. So it wasn't super funny. I mean, there's really not a lot going for it. Like, I can't think of a huge redeeming quality other than the visuals. And I mean, like, they were, I'm not gonna say like they weren't Jungle Book good, but I mean they were not bad. They were better than the rhinos. I'm trying to fish for a positive because there's got to be something, right? I mean, the little kid acting was pretty bad, honestly, across the board. The only outstanding performances, as far as acting was concerned, was Michael Keaton, but his character was pretty poorly written. And whoever the girl was, she was cool. The trapezist?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
She was the only one that did anything, though, it felt like. And even her doing stuff, it didn't do anything to the plot, so, like, it's kind of pointless.
Yeah. That was, I think that's one thing that this movie suffered a lot from. I'm gonna make a loop. Was just being, like, making itself unnecessary when I think it could have really explored a lot more, and it did.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. So yeah, 4, are you sticking with your 3.5?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give it a 4 for good visuals and a good 2 actors, or a good actor and a good actress. As far as hopes and dreams were concerned, we did have one song, but it was really short. Which honestly, I think this movie might have been better if they went in the musical route.
Same.
Which is kind of like disappointing. And then yours for being taken back to being a little kid.
Yeah, no.
Is I feel like we probably
the only scene that I think could have done that was the bubble scene, and then after that it was just kind of like downhill from there.
Yeah. Him flying, I feel like if they didn't do it so many times, could have done it too. But it was a non whimsical thing to see.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm not sure about the budget of the movie or how it's doing at box office. This is opening weekend, and we were in a theater with maybe 15 other people.
Yeah,
like 10 to 15.
Pretty empty.
So at least on the North Carolina side of things, enthusiasm for the movie does not seem to be through the roof. We shall see how it does later on. I don't have much to add at all, to be quite honest, and it sounds like the movie writers didn't either. So do you have any last words before we head out?
I would not watch it again.
Yeah, me neither. So hey, maybe we saved you a little bit of time. But thank you all for watching and or listening. This has been Car Chase Scene, and I will see you next time.